All right, let's call this meeting order of January 13th, 2026, 6 p.m. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would the clerk please take the roll?
Councilmember Wood,
Here.
Councilmember Richardson,
Present.
Councilmember Arias. Here. Councilmember Kangiser. Here. Councilmember Hess.
Here.
Councilmember Johnstone.
Here.
Councilmember Kaminsky.
Here.
Mayor DePinto.
Here. Is there a motion to approve the agenda or amend the agenda? Councilmember Arias.
Motion to amend the agenda to include a mayoral proclamation for Korean American Day?
Under special presentations?
Yes.
Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Johnstone. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. We now have an amended agenda. Now can we get approval of the amended agenda? Is there a motion to approve the amended agenda? Councilmember Kaminsky.
Move to approve the amended agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Kangiser. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. All right, we have an amended agenda. Thank you for that, council. Under special presentations, we first have the 2025 City of Yelm Employee of the Year, Michelle Christin. Michelle has been an employee for the City of Yelm for 20 years now. We just celebrated her 20-year anniversary, and she's been a great employee for the City of Yelm. But I'm going to go ahead and let her direct supervisor, Stephanie, come up and say a few words, if you would.
Mayor and council members. So I would like to introduce Michelle Christin to everybody. Like the mayor said, she has been with the city since 2005, and she's been in various roles within the city. But I think her most distinguished role has been as the face of City Hall as our lead customer service. Michelle is the first person that people will meet when they come into City Hall. She has a genuine love for helping people, and she shines in her customer service skills. She is calm, friendly demeanor, and she's always consistently greeting everyone that walks through our door. She is especially shines when faced with a difficult or disgruntled customer. She can turn their frown upside down like that, and those people will leave happy and smiling when Michelle gets done with them. She's just excellent with customer service. She's always in a good mood, and customers love her. They come in, and if they don't see her, they want to know where she is. They want Michelle to wait on them. She's also such a great team player. She lends a hand whenever it's needed. Whatever needs to be done, she will take the initiative to get things done or to offer help. And we really appreciate that. She keeps us in order. A few things that maybe you have noticed about City Hall is that we have a tree in the corner out here that is decorated for every season. And people love that. The kids love to come in and see it decorated for Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, 4th of July. And she's our lead decorator around here. The other thing you might have noticed, there's some large plants in City Hall that were donated to the city years ago. I'm not sure how long ago. She is our plant whisperer. She has kept those plants alive for years. I don't know what's going to happen when she retires someday. But we appreciate you, Michelle.
Thank you.
And we are so honored to have you as a member of our team. I just want to say congratulations on behalf of all the city. Cool.
We can go right in front of council here.
Council, if I could have you stand, please.
Congratulations.
Well, good evening, Mayor, City Council, and my leaderships. I just want to say thank you very much for this honor. I'm truly grateful to receive the City of Yelm Employee of the Year Award, and I am especially thankful to be recognized as from all my leaders. I respect and admire, especially after serving 20 years. My growth in this direction is all based on the reflection and the culture we have here. Great employees are shaped by great leadership. And thank you very much, everybody.
Proclamation. Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you, everyone.
Moving on to our next item under special presentations is the City of Yelm Mayoral Proclamation recognizing Korean American Day as January 13th, 2026. Whereas on January 13th, 1903, 102 Korean immigrants arrived in Hawaii as laborers for the sugar plantation, initiating the first large wave of Korean immigration to America. And whereas the second wave of Korean immigrants took place from 1960 to 1964 and consisted of many many Korean wives of American soldiers, war orphans, students, and businessmen. And whereas Korean Americans of all generations and recent immigrants have made significant contributions to the economic vitality of the United States, continue to make great contributions to our nation, our country, and the city of Yelm. And whereas in 2003, President George W. Bush issued the Centennial Korean Immigration in the United States Proclamation, which commemorated the centennial anniversary of Korean immigration in the United States and recognized the invaluable contributions of Korean Americans to our nation's rich cultural diversity, economic strength, and proud heritage. And whereas in 2007, Governor Christine Gregoire signed into law SB 5166, officially designating January 13th of each year as Korean American Day. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Joe DePeno, Mayor of the City of Yelm, proclaim January 13th, 2026 as Korean American Day to honor and celebrate the many contributions made by Korean Americans throughout our vibrant community. I encourage other businesses, organizations, public institutions, and community members to recognize Korean American Day and to take time to learn about Korean American history. Signed, the City of Yelm, Washington, this 13th day of January 2026. On to public comment. We have a decent amount. There's, 4 minutes?
3 minutes.
3 minutes, excuse me, 3 minutes to address council myself. At this point, this is not the public hearing for the annexation. This is about the interlocal agreement with the county for the annexation. The actual annexation will occur next, in 2 weeks, our next city council meeting. And at that point, if you also wish to make your, this is sufficient for the council, but if you do wish to make another public statement at that time, you're more than welcome to as well. So with that said, if there's anyone else with a blue card, please come up that wishes to talk about annexation. Otherwise, we'll start with Lois Allen. Lois Allen.
Hi.
Hello, please step to this podium and go ahead and start.
I'm new to this forum, but I live here in Yelm and I have concerns about what's going on, primarily due to water and water rights and who has them. I did want to find out if you all have met with the Nisqually tribe about your proposed annexation. Does anybody know if you've met with the tribe?
If you want to go ahead and if you want to ask questions, we can go ahead and get a response to you, but this isn't like a question back and forth. If you want to go ahead and make a statement to the council, we are very open to listening, and we can get that.
It's because I have a well and I want to make sure I keep my water rights. And I know that the Nisqually tribe has water rights. Water rights are very important to them. And so I want to make sure that down the road, 2 years from now or something, someone doesn't come knocking on the door saying, oh, you've got to, we're taking your well rights away and now you have to go on city water or something. That's my concern. And I wanted to be here to make that statement because to me, water rights are very, very important. And I am a tribal member, not of a Nisqually, but a different tribe, but we've fought for water rights forever and ever. And that's my statement, and that's my question. Have you met with the tribe? And are the water rights going to be affected for people with wells?
So if everyone wants to go ahead and make their statements, I'm happy to respond to as many that I can, off the top of my head with some of these questions. The rest of those questions we can do, if you want to leave your information, we can't get you a direct answer regarding a lot of those. But, I will be happy to answer all the questions, or at least as much as I can towards the end of it. And then we'll get as many people as we can to ask their questions. And,
Okay.
thank you. All right. Next up is Alan McKenzie.
I'm Alan McKenzie. I don't represent everybody, all the zones. I do represent Zone 8, which roughly entails 400 acres, of which I own half of. I went to every property owner on George Road, which is Zone 8, and have their signatures and stuff that are opposed to Zone 8. This is a letter that all of you should have received back in September. Mr. Hess, Councilman Hess, is the only one that responded to me. I don't know, he felt it was important, nobody else thought it was important, but to me it is important. It's important to everybody on Zone 8. Anyway, I wanted to read this letter. Anyway, it has come to our attention, George Road residents, the city of Yelm is proposing to annex 8 designated zones in the UGA. The Zone 8 property owners west of 507, representing the majority of Zone 8 property owners, respectfully request the city council withdraw our properties from further annexation consideration. Please find enclosed attachment A, which I just showed you, all the property owners. These Zone 8 property owners west of 507 seek to remain in Thurston County and not be annexed into the city of Yelm. We take no issue with the properties east of SR 507. I want to point out that east of 507, those properties are owned by a majority of a developer. So it is in his best interest to be annexed. Some of the justifications for opposing annexation are, I have 2 conservation easements restricting development on my acreage. Thurston County Future Funds is one of the entities that acquired the easements, which I feel they should have a vested interest in this. I agree to these conservation easements to conserve the rural land uses and character of my property. Annexation of my property would be in direct conflict with the direct intent of the conservation easements and my values. My livelihood is based upon the rural use of my land. Annexation will eventually take away my income sources, which would have a devastating adverse impact on my family's lives. Please prove the democratic process still works and vote to exclude Zone 8 properties on the attached petition. Thank you.
Thank you. Margaret McLeod.
So, point of clarification, Mr. Mayor. I think it would help, since it will be 2 weeks when the vote for annexation or not comes up, if you can explain exactly what happens today between the city of Yelm and the county. That just don't use the jargon, whatever it is. Just explain what that is, and that would be very helpful. Aside from that, again, I am also concerned with Zone 8. I'm not sure if that's being utilized as free space when they look at all the acreage combined for the 2,500 new homes that are proposed. But still, there is a lot of concern, even if it was the free space. The free space area, would the city then be able to mandate, trails through Mr. McKenzie's property? And those kinds of things, I mean, I was just thinking the other night, I was just visualizing where, Tahoma might come out under 507, because the proposal is at the Red Barn or near Mankey Road, and I'm just thinking about, okay, so what happens with the bike trail? I mean, what happens with a whole lot of things? So, all those things need to be addressed, but the rural area that is George Road, those things need to be sorted out before, a decision is made. And I asked at the county, or I asked at the meeting at the civic area over here, if this is an all or nothing proposal. In other words, zones can't be considered individual. And they told us, yes, it's all or nothing. Well, I don't think that's exactly the best democratic approach. And that the people that are in these areas do not have representation by you guys. So, there is a whole bunch of unfairness that's going on in this situation.
Comments? Elizabeth Burton Crow.
Hello, I'm a resident of Zone 8 and one of the people in the households that signed the petition that Mackenzie had brought to your attention today. My concerns with being annexed as part of Zone 8 are twofold. First, I don't think that it achieves the objectives that were stated in the letter that were sent to us. And second, I find it as a potential encumbrance through additional ordinances, taxes, etc., that frankly we're just not really interested in. So I'll begin at the beginning, which is the stated reasons for the annexation. The first reason was to increase the number of housing. As we know, there is a paucity of housing acreage within the city of Yelm currently compared to what the projections are to what is needed. However, Zone 8 specifically being primarily open space, including the space where I live, does not address those needs directly. So that becomes a moot argument. The second argument is that it corrects irregular boundaries. Those boundaries were made in the 1990s prior to Alan Mackenzie's conservation easements. I'm not sure that those same boundaries would be drawn today, given the fact that those are 100-year plus easements, and therefore there can be no development in those areas. The idea of open space was brought up, and it seems to me that Zone 8 is specifically targeted because it would create open space that could counteract what is needed by Blue Fern development and the large number of houses that are going behind the properties that are in the Zone 8 area. And frankly, it's all private property in that area. There is no open space, quote unquote, that can be used recreationally by those folks in those housing developments. So on both counts, in terms of the irregularity that is proposed to be corrected, I mean, we're 3 sides of a square. It's not that irregular, in my opinion, considering all south of us and to the west of us is unincorporated county. So my final point is that it would add layers of encumbrance through additional city ordinances and the potential for higher property values, higher property taxes, etc. On George Road, we do not receive hardly any services. Our internet is incredibly slow. It is a DSL copper line. We have a well. We're too far away to receive any kind of benefit from the city in terms of water, in terms of sewer, in terms of internet, as far as I know. So Instead, we would just receive ordinances that would prevent people from, like Alan McKenzie, from doing things like potentially having his Civil War and Revolutionary War reenactments and that kind of activity. So, just for the record, I definitely do oppose specifically Zone 8 being annexed. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else that wishes to address council? All right, just briefly, a lot of this, one question was asked about the interlocal agreement and wanting to know more about that. It will be explained during that portion of this meeting, so they will have a briefing on it. Gary, you will be doing it. We'll be, go ahead and talk about it and discuss it in detail. Regarding water rights, we do have water rights available for us. We just achieved, we're granted water rights in 2022. That gives us access to enough water for at least 2040s or so, if not further, depending on efficiencies. So that is not a concern either for water. We will be drawing from our deep aquifer. Regarding whether or not we should move into this area, it is part of the UGA, which someone mentioned was created in the 1990s. This area, the UGA, has always been planned for expansion for the city of Yelm city limits. Not just where you're at, but other zones as well. I understand the majority is from near that George Road area. But that has always been the plan for the city limits, is to expand out in that area and become part of the city of Yelm jurisdiction. I do understand your concerns. If you want, for the vast majority, your life will not change. For the vast majority of you, we will work with you as much as we can. But if you don't want to sell to a developer, if you don't want to have residential, you don't have to sell your property. It does give you the ability to do so in different opportunities. But if you want to keep your property the way it is now, the vast majority of you are able to do that in such a way that life will not change. Taxes are going to be very near the same for you. You're not going to see huge increases or anything like that. Some years you're going to see a decrease. Services will be more responsive with City of Yelm Police. At least I understand, I'm not saying that Thurston County doesn't do a good job at policing or anything like that, but they do have a larger area to manage than we do. So you will have a quicker response time for folks for emergencies, stuff like that you need to utilize our services. You're correct in water that you don't have water services or some sewer services right now. Eventually sewer lines will go out towards you, and that will be available for you should you wish to hook up. If you don't wish to hook up, if your well is currently going right now and you want to stay on your well, we're not going to force you to get off that well. If that well does break in the future and you do have to replace it, that's probably the time that you're going to be, if there's a water line a sewer line that's close enough to you. I believe it's 200 feet. If there's not, then you're not going to be required to. Is that correct? So for the vast majority, life will stay and remain as it is right now. That said, we will talk more about the interlocal agreement and what that does specifically. Gary, we'll talk about that when we get there. We're just a few items away from that. I appreciate your comments and coming in to voice your concerns and thoughts on this. Moving on, unless there's any other public comment or anyone online who wishes to comment.
We do not have any hands raised.
All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Right now, we have the December 2nd, 2025 study session minutes, the December 9th, 2026 regular meeting minutes, November 25th, 2025 regular meeting minutes, and the November 2025 check register and financial summary. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Councilor Hess.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Kaminsky. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to new business, resolution number 665, amending personnel policy. Karen.
Good evening, council. Good evening, Mayor. At last week's study session, council received an overview of recommended updates to the city's personnel policy. Tonight's action item is Resolution 665, which adopts and updates the 2026 personnel policy following internal, legal, and risk management review, ensuring compliance and federal and state laws best practices, and operational needs. Just to highlight a few of the edits in the personnel policy, one of the mandatory or set of mandatory legal updates include the full revision of section 7.11 FMLA and section 7.12 PFML to incorporate January 1st, 2026 requirements under the Paid Family and Medical Leave Act expansion. New and modernized workplace policies include the addition of a telework work arrangements section outlining eligibility, expectations, and administrative oversight. Also, the addition of a lactation accommodation language consistent with state and federal requirements. There has also been updates to the violence in the workplace section, clarifying HR responsibilities for investigation, procedure development, and response coordination. There's also been updated overtime language to reflect varied daily work schedules across departments. Operation and administrative improvements include a new city property and equipment return requirement incorporated into the separation section of 4.06 to support recovery of city assets. And with that short little review, if you all have any questions before you consider the proposed motion to approve Resolution 665 adopting the updated 2026 personnel policy for the city of Yelm, I'd be happy to answer anything.
Questions? Councilor Hess.
I want to say thank you for these updates, putting them into the 21st century to include remote work and things like that, and making it so that we are actually doing things the way it should be. So I want to say thank you very much. Looking over them, it was great improvement. Thank you.
Councilmember Richardson.
I move to approve resolution number 665, adopting the updated 2026 personnel policy for the city of Yelm.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Arias. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Karen.
Appreciate you all. Thank you. Have a good new year.
Thank you. Moving on to item B under new business, acceptance of TIB grant award and authorization to execute an agreement on Roten Road. Elizabeth.
Good evening, council members, mayor. My name is Elizabeth Jones. I'm the projects and grants manager for the city of Yelm. I'm here to present to you for approval and signature the TIB grant award that the city received in the amount of approximately $3.1 million. With this funding, we are now fully funded to construct or reconstruct Roten Road.
Questions, council? Councilmember Richardson.
I move to approve acceptance of the Washington State Transportation Improvement Board TIB grant award for the Roten Road Northwest Reconstruction Project, TIB project number 8-5-978-004-1 in the amount of to $3,178,750 and to authorize the mayor to execute the TIB grant agreement.
Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Kaminsky. Is there any further discussion? Councilmember Hess.
In reference to Roten Road, because that's going to become the way that through traffic goes from 507 all the way to the 510 loop. Is there with that improvement that occurs, are we working on an interlocal agreement with WashDOT, having them not 100% help take care of that road, but some percentage, just because we're going to have a lot of heavy trucks now going through there, and that will do wear and tear on our asphalt and everything?
As far as like actual preservation and restoration of those roads in the future, I don't believe so. But this is from the state. This is a state grant that will pay for this new road, basically. And it's a very large grant that we're getting from the state regarding preservation. Cody, do you want to talk on?
Yeah, so preservation will be on the city, but the benefit is most of the large trucks will still drive around the city. These are the trucks that are only doing local traffic. So local semis going to Aquatic, the deliveries will go on Roten Road. And with this new road upgrades and the work being done on it, it'll be durable enough to handle these semis versus the road that currently is. So we'll continue to budget money as council has approved and repair the roads as they need, but it should be a great road for most years to come.
Any further questions, comments? All right, it's been motion seconded to accept the TIB grant award and authorization to execute agreement. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth. All right, moving on, public hearing of the annexation interlocal agreement between the city of Yelm and Thurston County. We'll start off with a briefing by Gary. Thank you.
Good evening, council. Planning and Building Manager. You may recall that I actually brought this proposal to you last month, and we conducted a hearing. Council voted to approve, but we discovered that the word hearing was not published on the agenda for the meeting. So although we did publish it in the newspaper, we provided notice just to be double sure that we're complying with the Open Public Meetings Act. We're bringing it back again tonight. So I'm going to have to repeat myself a bit. But so this is an interlocal agreement between Thurston County and obviously the city of Yelm. As we've said numerous times, this does not approve an annexation. What it does is establish what our roles and responsibilities would be between the city and county if at the public hearing on the 27th, the council does decide to approve annexation. So it's more or less a laundry list of how, as I said before, how the county would pass the baton off to the city if we were to annex. It's things like getting a list of public works projects that are underway in the county that the city would then need to coordinate with them on, somehow assuming any unfinished work, stormwater fees and maintenance that the county has collected that they could transfer to us, property records. If there are any open permits in the area that we're annexing, we will actually take over those permits, which should be a I worked at the county, so it might be good, but we would be processing those permits using the county's rules and regulations because it would be fair to have someone who's already actively, in an application process to have to change the rules in midstream. So those are the kinds of things that this agreement takes care of. There was a question about like what's next with the ILA and the county. So basically at this point, up until you decide to annex, the county is pretty much out of the picture because the county already approved this ILA. It's up to us to then decide whether, or council to decide whether to annex. So the next time the county would be involved at all would be in executing this interlocal agreement. But they have no further role in any decision-making as regards the actual annexation. Or do you have any questions?
All right, at this point, we're going to go ahead and open up to the public for a public hearing, and we will open up at 6:33. And this is an opportunity for the folks. So if you want to talk about specifically this interlocal agreement, whether there are certain things of it that you agree or disagree with, as what the county's performing, what the city's performing, this is what this would be for. If you wish to talk about the actual annexation itself, that would be appropriate for the next public hearing in 2 weeks. Just a heads up on that.
But you guys voting on the annexation too?
Correct. This is for the interlocal agreement.
Yes.
Okay, for this interlocal agreement, is there anyone that does wish to testify on this? Okay, seeing none, is there any online?
There's no hands raised online.
Or we're going to close the public hearing?
Wait.
Yes,
Can I
ma'am.
ask a question?
We ask question, but it has to be germane to this interlocal agreement.
Well, it has to do with the website and the information. Is that
It
okay?
is not. I'm sorry, ma'am.
Because you can use it. It's non-user friendly.
We can absolutely discuss that afterwards. We wanted to chat with you afterwards about that. Is there anyone else that wishes to talk about this interlocal agreement? I'm going to close this public hearing at 6:34. We're going to open us up to council for questions and comments. Gary, happy to answer questions. Council, any other questions? Again, we did discuss this. And it was passed, I believe unanimously. The only thing that we're doing, we wanted to make sure that this was public and we were doing it as publicly as possible. So it's literally the same thing we passed earlier. Is there any discussion or any comments? Councilmember Hess.
One of the concerns that was brought up was in reference to who was representing them. And if I remember correct, because they were in the unincorporated, it is the Thurston County Commissioners and that element that was representing them. Is that correct? In other words, if there was any issues that should.
The interlocal agreement?
Not only that, but also with a thing of going through this.
This is only on the interlocal agreement itself, not the annexation. This is about the rules. Is there anything regarding the interlocal agreement?
Well, it's the jurisdiction representative. I'm just wondering that until this goes through, that.
I believe it's a county, but
Okay.
Gary, do you want to?
Well, we had a hearing with the county, Board of County Commissioners on this. I don't remember the exact date. I want to, well, it was the third Tuesday of last month because it was the same day as Planning Commission. So at that time, and we had a few members of the folks in the crowd here at that hearing as well.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. I just want to make sure that, because we talked about the representation in this.
Absolutely. All right. That said, I will take a motion. Councilman Richardson.
Move to approve the interlocal agreement between the city of Yelm and Thurston County, establishing the roles and responsibilities for each jurisdiction following a pending annexation.
Councilor Arias.
I'll second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Gary.
Thanks, council.
All right, moving on to next item D under new business, Mayor Pro Tem selection. If you wish to be the Mayor Pro Tem, you can nominate yourself. You wish to nominate someone else, you have the right as well. That person can decline. But we will take nominations. If you want to, you do not need a second, under Robert's Rules of Order, you do not need a second to be approved for this, for, at least for the nomination. After nominations are closed, we'll go ahead and I will ask for, any of those, candidates to go ahead and say a few words, up to 2 minutes. And then we will take a vote according to the, first person that was nominated. The first person that receives 4 votes, will be the Mayor Pro Tem. Is there any questions on that selection process? Councilor Richardson.
So a second is not required, but what if a second happens anyways?
It would be unnecessary. I won't take it. All right, that said, well, Councilor Wood.
I got a little concern about the method in which we're doing this in the respect to 4 votes immediately gets it. I know we've been here before, and I think that with conversations with the individual council members after that, there was some concern as to the actual fairness of that because nobody else got an opportunity to really even discuss anything. It was just a matter of I move and that was it. And I'm hoping that we don't run across that situation again because it seems like we're not getting a full perspective of the council as far as who we as a group feel is the best representative.
Sure. Like I said, everyone will have the opportunity to speak first. So everyone will hear the candidates, each candidate. If your candidate is not the first one or the first one nominated, whoever you want to be, you can choose whoever, just don't vote for that person. So if whoever gets the 4 votes, that's going to be the majority of the council. So if there's a majority of the council that wants that first candidate, that candidate's going to be. If they don't, it'll go to the next and next until that person is chosen. Councilor Richardson.
I nominate David Johnstone as Mayor Pro Tem.
Do you accept the nomination?
Sure.
Okay. Is there other nominations? And reminder, you can't nominate yourself. Councilor Hess.
I nominate Councilwoman Ken Geiser for Mayor Pro Tem.
Do you accept?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Other nominations? Other nominations? Councilmember Kaminsky.
I nominate myself.
Okay. Any other nominations? All right. Let's hear from each of the candidates. You don't have to if you don't want to, but if you want to say a few words, is why you think you would be a good Mayor Pro Tem. Now's the time. Councilor Johnson, we'll start with you.
I'm unbiased. I have no conflicts of interest, and I'm happy to take on the role.
Councilor Kaiser?
I would be honored to serve as a Mayor Pro Tem. I feel that I consistently study what all of it, the big picture looks like entirely.
I am fully confident in your skill as a mayor to go to each of the events and things like that. But if you cannot make it, then I would be delighted to step in.
Thank you. Councilor Kaminsky.
I'm sure we will never need to step in for you, but I'm entering my 9th year on council, and I feel like I have the senior position here other than maybe Tracy. And it's just an experience that I would like to have in the process. It's one of the things I haven't done. And so I think I would enjoy it.
All righty. Is there anything further? We will go down, we'll, in the order of Johnstone, Kingizer, and Kaminsky, we will take a vote. We'll go down the order from Upper Wood to Kaminsky. And first one with 4 votes will become the Mayor Pro Tem, and that'll be a 2-year term. This is for Councilmember Johnstone to be Mayor Pro Tem. Councilor Wood, a yay vote is affirmative, a nay vote is against. Councilor Wood, how do you vote?
Yay.
Councilor Richardson?
Yes.
Councilor Arias?
Nay.
Councilor Kingizer?
No.
Councilor Hess?
No.
Councilor Johnstone?
Yes.
Councilor Kaminsky?
No.
With 3 votes, we will continue. This would be for Councilmember Kingizer. Councilor Wood, how do you vote?
No.
Councilor Richardson, how do you vote? Councilor Arias, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilor Kingizer, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilor Hess, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilor Johnstone, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilor Kaminsky, how do you vote?
No.
And with majority vote, Councilor Kingizer is the next Mayor Pro Tem. Councilmember Wood.
This was what I was concerned about. As you saw, one of the council members changed their vote on this, so it gave an opportunity for, the other, if we were given 1 vote, that wouldn't be the case. But being the situation as it is, we got 4 votes. I think it would only be fair to give Councilmember Kaminsky an opportunity to be voted on as well.
Already been voted on. We already have someone approved.
I would have to agree with that. And secondly, this is, if that was a concern that, I tried to explain how the vote would go. If there was any concerns at that point, it would have been then you would have made your point to do it.
That's my concern in the first place.
Councilor Kaminsky?
But to Tracy's point, just because I was the 3rd one in, disadvantaged me from being the 2nd one in. So that doesn't seem right.
I don't think it disadvantages if the person that you wanted to win was, let's say, Councilor Kaminsky, that person council would have waited for their votes. They would have withheld the votes, 4 votes. We would have gotten it. Councilor Arias.
I believe that this council has been adverse to ranked choice voting, and I will note that would alleviate some of this in the future.
Ranked choice voting is something that we can do. Again, this is for a 2-year period, but as it stands now, Councilmember Kingizer is the Mayor Pro Tem. If there is an issue with the procedure that we did, we will address it at the next council meeting, but I believe we have followed correct procedure. Kathy, our city clerk, agrees. But again, if we didn't, we will follow up and make sure that we do it right. Okay. All right. Congratulations, Councilor Kingizer. Moving on to old business. There's none scheduled. Moving on to standing council committee reports. We'll start with the Public Safety Committee.
We had a wonderful meeting last week. Just to kind of give some updates here, we have 19 officers currently, one more that's being offered. By 2026, within this budget year, we're looking at 2 more officers being brought. They're already budgeted. We just had to find the 2 officers. Officer Hodge was sworn in, and Officer Hodge was a lateral transfer, so they are able to immediately get out there on the patrols and work their way through. The chief mentioned that the Christmas parade, great participation occurred. He was very happy to see the turnout as well as the orderly manner that everybody was there, was there for. So it was really good. The flock update, there's been a lot of concerns about the flock update. And one of the things that the chief has done to be within the line of Washington state law is he has made it so that nobody other than our jurisdiction is able to get to the flock information. In other words, nobody else can go into it and see anything without reaching out to him first. And so we're working on that. Additionally, anybody has concerns, you can reach out to the chief. He will gladly brief anybody on that and show them the material and let them know when the next meeting with the company so that they can ask their questions to the company as well. See the statistics were reference crime. We've grown and it's kind of the same, but with more officers, we're having a lot more interaction. So some of the property crimes and things like that have been going down, and it's probably due to the fact that we've had that interaction from our officers, we're talking to the public and such. Regional SWAT interlocal agreement. It is currently, it's being discussed right now. The way it works right now is the county sheriff is the one that's responsible and in charge of the SWAT. So all money goes to him and goes to the county and they purchase what needs to be done, but still we have to look at some other items that we as a city have to do. In addition, if the SWAT is called out, he is the one that takes over for that operation. And one of the things that the various cities have put out is that we have people that are trained. In fact, we have 4 Yelm officers that are trained to be that leadership command post. And so they're working on getting a local agreement that if SWAT's called out, whoever's available that has that training can take over the operations of that incident, and it's not dependent upon the sheriff to show up. In addition, the leadership of each city with the county is able to discuss how budgeting will be done. So everybody has a say with the pot of money. For the report update, the month of December, what their big thing was, they did provide passport services. They had 13, which brought in $455. But the biggest thing that they did was they were catching up on a lot of projects. So there's a lot done there. Then we have another concern from the police chief in reference to the evidence and car storage. We don't have our own, so we've been depending upon things to be towed to the Washington State Patrol for the storage for an investigation, which causes our officer who's doing the investigation have to go out there. So one of the things that he is looking into is finding a space that we can have as an evidence yard. And one of his other concerns was that we have equipment that is exposed to the elements. And so we need to try to find a way to enclose them so they don't receive more damage. From the fire department, that was a very interesting report from him. And the big thing that was brought out is that we're now, I think if I remember correct, it's about 20% of the calls are not being responded to by the station that's in Yelm itself, for within Yelm itself. And so we're depending upon outside agencies to come in. And also another thing that he brought up is that there's concern for the medical side, which we had a wonderful discussion. The Indigo Urgent Care has helped out a great deal, but at the same time, it's also they're getting calls from them to take patients. And so hopefully, as you've briefed before, they are looking at bringing in a emergency services element like they have in Lacey at the roundabout right before Fred Meyer's, something like that. So hopefully their study looking at the call numbers for medical, that'll hopefully alleviate that, and we'll be able to show that we have that need here in Yelm. And I ask my fellow council members, did I miss anything?
Never do.
All right, it's all yours.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the Public Services Committee.
No meeting.
Moving on to Finance Committee.
No meeting?
Moving on to General Government Committee.
No meeting.
All right. Moving on to Mayor, City Administrator, staff reports. Todd.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Just a couple more updates from the various departments. From our Finance Department, we had our exit interview yesterday with the State Auditor's Office for our yearly audit. Thank you to Councilmember Johnstone for joining us on that exit interview. The city received a clean audit review Tremendous appreciation to Stephanie and the finance team for keeping the city in compliance every year and maintaining strong financial footing. From the public services, we filled the position of water operator 1. We had 43 applications for this one position. Jason Preston was selected as the best candidate. Staff will host an open house on January 21st, which is a Wednesday at 6 p.m. for the Veterans Memorial Project. Purpose is to share the current concept and provide an opportunity for the community to learn about the project and provide input. From our communications department, big doings here with the Puzzle Palooza. Will take place at the Yum Community Center at 6 p.m. on Friday, the 24th. Teams race against the clock and each other to see who can complete their puzzle the fastest. From the executive department, tomorrow, January 14th, the mayor will represent the city of Yelm along with his fellow peers from neighboring cities as they deliver their State of the Community address. This will take place at St. Martin's and Lacey and will begin at 11:30. Community conversations will also take place tomorrow evening at the Yelm Community Center. This is our first quarter evening edition of Community Conversations. And that's what I got. Sorry if I took some of your thunder, Mayor.
It's all right. Councilor Hess.
Reference to the Veteran Memorial open house. What was the time again?
6 p.m. on Wednesday, the 21st of January.
Questions for Todd? You did take a lot of my thunder, but I will say we do have council committees appointments here. I'm going to go ahead and pass this down, but for the public's benefit, I will go ahead and just publicly say your committees. Starting with the Public Safety Committee, Councilmember Kingheiser will be chair. Councilmember Wood be vice chair. Councilmember Johnson will be a member at large. For the Finance Committee, Councilmember Johnston will be chair. Councilmember Arias will be vice chair. Councilmember Kingheiser will be member at large. Public Service Committee will be Councilmember Richardson as the chair. Councilmember Kaminsky as vice chair. Councilmember Hess as member at large. General Government Committee will be Councilmember Arias as chair. Councilmember Hess as vice chair, and the Mayor Pro Tem, Councilmember Kingheiser, will be also on the General Government Committee. External Committee and liaison assignments. Myself will be continue on the 3 that I have been on: Thurston Regional Planning Council, South Sound Military and Community Partnership, and Thurston Economic Development Council. Councilor Richardson will be on Thurston Thrives Coordinating Council. Councilor Kingheiser will be on Southeast Thurston Fire Authority Liaison. Councilor Johnston will be Yelm Senior Center Liaison, as well as the Thurston EMS Council. Councilor Wood will be on Transportation Policy Board, as well as TCOM 911. Councilmember Arias will be on South Thurston Economic Development Council, STEADY, as well as Regional Housing Council, RHC. Councilmember Hess will be on Intercity Transit Authority, as well as Solid Waste Advisory Committee. Councilmember Kaminsky will be on the Squaw River Council and the Thurston County Law and Justice. Any questions about your assignments? If you haven't received the times and dates and everything, Kathy will go ahead and send those out tomorrow.
I'm not sure that the coordinating council still exists.
Thurston Thrives?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't think it did.
We will.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'll figure out what happened. Thank you. Any other questions, comments on your committees? All right. Other than that, as Todd said, I will be speaking with the other mayors at tomorrow's State of the Community. Loved it if you're able to attend. It's at 11 o'clock is when the doors open. I think it starts actually at noon. And that's at St. Martin's. If you do wish to attend, Kathy.
Yeah, let me know first thing. I saw an email yesterday that said it was almost sold out. So you do need tickets to get in.
And lastly, before we hand it over to council member reports, I do want to encourage council to attend this year's AWC conference in June sometime in Spokane. I know it's a sometimes difficult when your work schedules and everything, but it is it's a very helpful thing for you as a council member for your growth. And I know Councilor Wood, you attended was last year or the year before? Down in Vancouver. It's very beneficial I'm sure it was for you. There's lots, if you're trying to get your certification as a AWC municipal leadership, this also gives a decent amount of points towards that as well. This This council itself has a decent amount already, which, Councilor King, I think you're probably the closest to get to that certification. I think you're just a few away. But yeah, if you do want to do it, we do have a training budget for that, and we would like you to attend. It makes you a better council member, and you get to see other councils and their cities and what they're doing, best practice over there. It's a really good experience. All right, moving on, council member reports, starting with council member Wood.
I attended the TCOM 911 meeting. It was pretty light. We went over some planning for some strategic planning, 2026 through 2030. We're preparing for an executive director performance review. And I managed.
Did I hear you get nominated for something or?
Yeah, I was just going to tell you, I managed to get myself appointed to vice chair.
Congratulations. Thank you. Councilmember Richardson.
Nothing to report.
Councilor Arias.
Not, just got assigned my committees, so nothing to report, but looking forward to reporting in future meetings. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor King Iser.
I went to the public safety meeting. I think Councilmember Hess gave a very thorough report, so nothing to add to that. I attended my STEPFA meeting, which is the Southeast Thurston Fire Authority. I was honored to literally walk in just as the presentations for promotions was starting. So that was really neat. They promoted four people, and it was really neat to it was a packed house. Their families were there, did a pinning ceremony. Chief King had a lot of nice things to say, and that was just really neat to see that kind of camaraderie right there. Today I went to the Young Chamber Lunch Forum. One of our very own board members presented, Joel Sponson from Tim's Pharmacy, had a lot to say about growing your business and spoke about leadership. One thing I really wanted to share from that I took, just taking it to heart, great leaders don't just lead, they build systems that allow people to be successful themselves. And so I'm taking that little tidbit with me today.
Very good. Thank you. Councilor Hess.
With Intercity Transit Authority, the big thing that they passed was a interlocal agreement with the city of Lacey to identify processes, roles, and responsibilities related to the implementation of an AI-powered smart sensor at identified intersections within the city. What these will do is they're going to be doing the count, seeing how traffic flows, and in addition, when the buses come up, are they able to make that switch so that the bus can be more efficient and not have to sit behind a light for an extended period of time. Also, some things that are coming up. There's do-it-yourself bike repair that's coming up. It's the first Thursday of the month from 5 to 8, and that starts January 17th. It's also on the third Saturday from 8 to 1. And these events are located at the Walk and Roll Educational Bike Shop and are by appointment only. And so there's an email, which I will make sure gets put out for that. I'm also working with our one bike shop here to see if they might be able to also provide that for us here in Yelman and the surrounding area. There's also, we have the Learn to Ride classes that are going on. It's really good for people who've never ridden the bus. You get a bus buddy that walks you through. And then there's Teens Biking to Destinations. That's opening up for the spring break. What they'll do is they go on bicycle rides and they get the chance to see the trails and have some fun activities. So that's going to be looking really nice to see happen. And that's all I have to report for Intercity Transit. Other than that, all's good.
All right. Thank you. Councilor Johnstone.
No meetings, no report.
Councilor Kaminsky.
No meetings.
All right. There is no executive session scheduled. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Councilor Kaiser, fire hair. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. 1 nay.